Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Indie Comics Review. This week I'm going to be doing reviews on 4 books from last week and recent weeks. So if you like this content, don't forget to give it a like and a subscribe. So let's get started right away. First book is one of the biggest books of the week that came out last week. It is Berserker, co-written by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kent, and with art from Ron Garney. Berserker, wow, what can you say about Berserker? It had like 100 different covers. The height was phenomenal, only eclipsed by the ENIAC book that came out from Bad Idea. I guess it's the only bigger thing in comics this week or last week. And if you're a fan of action books and a fan of violence in comic books, this is for you. Frederick Wortham, who banned comics in the 50s, would just shit his pants if he saw this book today. This is just violence elevated to an art, almost, in this story. Begins with the character that looks very much, has very much of a not so much of a passing resemblance to Keanu Reeves, who's this guy that is this government agent, and they're on this ops mission with him, and they're about to just jump off and just kick some ass. It starts with him jumping out of the plane, landing into the fray, and what follows is just I don't know, how can I describe this? It's just a ballet of brutality. I mean, there's brain fluid. I mean, he's just crushing people's skulls, and you can tell this guy is. I guess the name is just so perfect, and Ron Gurney's artwork is just fantastic. It is just perfect for this book. I don't want to even show too much of the action, because it's mostly action. We see him as he's just destroying people and kicking ass all over the place. We listen to him talking to his I guess his doctor. I don't know if she's his therapist or she's just the doctor in charge of him. She was assigned to him to, I guess, keep an eye on him because he goes on these missions. He does all this stuff. He appears to be immortal, and he's regenerated after every mission. So he returns from the mission. He goes into the regeneration room. They're doing all this stuff to him. They're checking his tissues. It looks like maybe they even clone his tissues to replace the destroyed tissue. We're not shown a lot about who he is. We're given bits and pieces. Like I said, they intimate that he's immortal. Clearly, he can't be killed because he just does everything you can imagine. You just have to read this book if you're a fan of action comics. Not action comics, but of action in comics. And I have to say that this is so well done. There's a lot of hype behind this book, but it does deliver. I mean, this is what you're looking for. And this is not this is not the kind of indie book that's going to be dialogue driven or slice of life kind of thing. If you come looking for action, this is right up your alley right here. And it looks like they developed the story pretty well along with the action, because the action is not going to be a problem. And they keep this creative team on here. I think it's got a chance to be really big. And you're looking at Matt Kent, man. He's saying, like, we got these guys, Donnie Cates and James Tynion out here. Don't forget about me. He's got this book. He's got a bunch of other books. He's got the ENIAC book. He's got another book from Bad Idea coming out pretty soon. Matt Kent is probably a force to be reckoned with. He's in the higher echelon of writers out there, and I'm sure Keanu contributed something as well. Nothing more than his likeness. You're looking for an action-packed book? Berserker is definitely for you. Pick this book up, folks. It's a winner in its genre. Next book is Dead Dog's Bite. This is from Dark Horse Comics, and it's written and drawn by Tyler Boss. Tyler Boss. It's a single creator book, which is very cool. It's very well written and illustrated. This takes place in a small town, which I forget the name of the town. It could be any town, USA. It revolves around this girl named Jo. She goes by Jo, and she feels kind of stuck in this town, and she's learning a lot about herself and everything. And also, her best friend, she's known for years, has disappeared recently. And it's just a few days since her disappearance. They're holding a vigil in the book at some point, and her picture's on a milk carton, and she's trying to, along with the girl's boyfriend, who's also a friend of Joe's. They're cool too, and their relationship seems to be kind of complicated. They're trying to figure out what's happening with their friend, and along the way you run into bullies and eccentric pharmacists, and it's just small town life and angst and coming of age, and also looks like what could be a pretty good mystery. Tyler Boss is really a good creator. They're doing a really great job on this book. I would like to see what happens next. There are some instances that are explained. There are some that are not explained. I don't want to give away too much of what's going on in it, but it is a book that is complete opposite of Berserker. I don't know if that Venn diagram of fan would cross over. It does with me, but not everyone is I don't know, like as many different genres as I do. This is definitely a character and dialogue driven book, and the character of Jo seems like she's interesting, and the mystery of what is happening with her friend is constantly unfolding. So this I believe was an ongoing series, so I'm really curious to see which direction this series goes. If you like character-driven series and creators who do everything as I do, then definitely pick up Dead Dog's Bite from Dark Horse Comics. Next book is Casual Fling. It's written by Jason Starr and illustrated by Dalibor Pelagic, I think is the name of the person. Casual Fling is from Upshot Comics, and it could be, some people may want to dismiss it as a typical soap opera fare, but I don't think it is. It takes place, the subject matter could be construed as that in Manhattan. But this couple that's pretty well off. They're living in downtown Manhattan. They would definitely have to be. And the man is the homemaker. The couple has 2 kids, and as anyone who has kids, young kids might know, it's quite a handful. And the woman, she is a lawyer, big time corporate executive, go, a lot of pressure and all this. And it's kind of cool that they have the traditional roles reversed in here, just to show that anybody can make a mistake, anybody can be tempted, anybody can just just become and fall into being infidelity. So and we kind of see this happening, and in the show, in the book, you can see that the stress of child raising is getting to them. The woman is missing important. She's just forgetting about important dates in the kids' lives, and meeting with the husband. And then eventually there is this meeting where she has to just blow off his recital, and she meets this guy from the firm that they're representing, and of course you can see him just moving all up on her and everything, and she's just not resisting his advances at all. I don't know if it's boredom or whatever. But of course, they end up sleeping together, as would as the title would suggest. And it looks like it's going to be one of those situations where the tagline of the book is "Sex is never safe," and I suppose what's going to happen here is going to illustrate that, because it looks like this could be an eyes wide shut situation she's gotten herself into. I don't want to reveal too much as I give this away, but she kind of has remorse after the infidelity, and she does some things and says some things, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that easy to get out of this situation. So this is, I think, a four-issue limited series. Next issue, the other shoe should drop. So if you, once again, this is another character and not necessarily dialogue, but just a story-driven book. If you like those kind of things, pick up Casual Fling. This is might be better than you expected. Last book is Nocterra. Excuse me. Last book is Nocterra. This is from Scott Snyder and with art by Tony Daniel. Nocterra is from Image Comics. Nocterra begins when there's this event where they call the Big PM. Val is the main character in this story, and she recalls where she was when the Big PM hit. Her and her adopted brother were in the backseat of their parents' car, and the sun just was blotted out. What would happen if the sun just ceased to shine? I know they say at some point that will happen. The sun will at some point burn out, but allegedly it's going to be, what, millions of years from now, thousands of years from now, but who knows, really, right? And this book supposes a scenario when that actually does happen. And we flash forward to Val as an adult, and now she's been living in the Big PM for years, and she's driving a rig. She's a ferryman. She ferries people from one outpost to another within the Big PM. She's based out of Colorado, I think, someplace around Denver. And what has happened since the sun's been blotted out, all the creatures, humans, animals, insects, all the creatures that are not at the outpost or in a safe space, they've been mutated and they've kind of just blended, and then there's just these creatures, these dark creatures that live in the dark, and that they're blind, and you have to, I guess, shine lots of light on them to even repel them, and it's just this hellscape. And there's this instance where she's driving her rig, ferrying some people, and someone panics, and they have to they open the door, and all these things fly in, and it's just hellish. So what's happening with her now is that her runs are starting to dry up. I guess this plan she had didn't pan out, and now she needs money, because that's what she does. She doesn't have any routes right now. If she doesn't have routes, she doesn't make money. And it turns out the way that people get infected with this thing that turns these creatures into what do they call them? Shades. These creatures are called shades. These morphed, mutated things that live in the dark. And what makes you can get infected from a shade is that the first thing that goes is your gums start turning black. So they check everyone's gums when they come back from a run. They check every person they bring in through the run to make sure that they're not infected with the shade sickness. So it looks like, without giving away much, like her brother is kind of like the guy who was like, the Akira brother was always getting into some shit. So he's a really smart kid, and he's making tech and stuff like that, but he looks like he may have been exposed to a shade, and now she's got to figure out some way to get help for him without letting anyone know, because they probably, you know, once you find out you got the shade disease, you know, that's it. They shun you and you're out. So she gets an opportunity, and this from this man and this child who are on her route that she just brought in. They need her to take them somewhere else, into another dangerous territory. And because she's got no other options, she's going to decide to do that run with them. And it turns out there's trouble following these people. And Val is in for a big surprise as she tries to get help for them and for her brother. Nocterra could be, I'm willing to give it another second issue as well. It was well produced and well written, well drawn. So you know, it's just lots of books have good first issues and kind of peter out or don't get better until the second or third issue. So Nocterra is interesting enough, I think, to, you know, if you like that kind of adventure and like that kind of apocalyptic hellscape kind of a story, Nocterra, I want to be Nocterra for some reason. Nocterra could definitely be for you. So yeah, that is it for this Indie Comics review. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notifications buttons so you'll know when I make another video. And yeah, I mean, I just want to talk a little bit about maybe this whole bad idea comic thing. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I guess I was under a rock for the last couple of weeks. I just got so much stuff going on. I didn't find out about it until recently. And there's only like 5 stores in my state who have that book. So I ended up like pre-ordering the next 2. So we'll see what happens. Maybe at some point I'll be able to get those in my hands, and I can do a review of those precious books that nobody can get their hands on. So yeah, it's a pretty good gimmick. So anyway, that being said, folks, hope to see you again, and thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in my next video. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.